Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I'm Deplorable Knitter. I am joined as always by my fabulous co-host, Pinkava. And today we are also joined by our very special guest, Lynne from Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. Hi Lynne.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever you are, wherever you are. Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for joining us.
Exactly. And I mean, we've been talking about you every single episode, so we should see you again. Come on.
Yeah.
That does a lot for my ego. Yeah, my ego is very happy. Thank you.
Yeah, so before we get into whatever we're getting into, Anne is going to tell us about our winners and our giveaways.
I am. So we have had, throughout the month of June as a celebration for our anniversary month, we've been doing a giveaway every single week. So previous winners have gotten our own colorway, which we're going to talk about with Lynne a little bit because I love this so much. But our Politically Incorrect Knitters colorway. But this week's winner gets Snowy Day, lovely, delicate, speckly. And that winner is Jane McTavish. So if you could email us, Jane, the email is politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com with your address, and we can get that out. And a copy, of Cody Schlegel's book, Odyssey Tale. So those two are going to Jane. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Yay. Jane. I hope you enjoy both.
Yep.
Yay. We would love to hear from you after you get it.
Yep.
What you think.
And also to round out our month of giveaways, we have, ta-da, the Patriot Collection, also by Lynne. And these are, well, she can probably tell you better than me, that these are mini skein fade. It's in DK. It's beautiful. Red, white, and blue. That's it.
And there's 13 skeins for the 13 different colonies. And there's 250 grams of yarn to represent the 246 years that we've been a nation.
There you go.
It's kind of corny, but it works. Yeah, it's wonderful. Karen Hooley of Karen Hooley Designs took that Patriot collection last year and she made this gorgeous scarf. And you can go on, it's crocheted and it's an 8-pattern repeat or 8-row repeat of the pattern. And it's gorgeous. Go to her website and check it out. KarenHooleyDesigns.com, I believe.
I'll double check and I'll put the link down in the notes in case anybody needs help finding it. But yeah, so this week's winner is going to get the jackpot of gifts because it's the whole Patriot collection and it's a copy of Cody Schlegel's Odyssey Tale, which is the best non-woke book you're going to read in a while. So make sure you enter by commenting on YouTube or Rumble and we will pick a winner next week and you will get your prize maybe even in time for Independence Day. Maybe in time for some little holiday knitting. So won't that be exciting?
So the Patriot collection sold out this year. It sold out last year and it sold out this year again, which I'm very humbled by. I put together a little mini Patriot, just 6 skeins, 2 red, 2 white, 2 blue of the, it's called the Patriot Bouquet. It's like a little bouquet. And I have these in DK and fingering, and these are ready to ship. So by using the code,
20% off your order is PIK Flag Day 20.
See, that's for the month of June. So yeah, I still have a couple of the Patriot bouquets in stock. I have a bunch of DKs, not very many fingerings left. I think these would make fun socks.
This would be.
Or not.
They're really pretty.
You could use them for whatever.
But something that would be super fun to go along with any of your beautiful yarn that you get from Chicken Lady would be some awesome notions or a new shawl pin or even some jewelry. And we have a new sponsor. It's called the Perfect Heist, and she is handmade in Maine. God-fearing, patriot, homegrown small business person. And you can check out her shop on Etsy. I will drop the link right here for you. And also you can use the code SMALLBIZ to get 60% off your order. So make sure you check out the Perfect Heist. She has a lot of things, and they're things that are going to complement your Chicken Lady order. So it's perfect. It'll work beautifully together.
Very cool. Do you know if she ships internationally?
You know, I'm not sure, but that is something we can find out.
I just started shipping internationally. So those of you who are in the UK or in France, perhaps you might need one of these also. Also, I wanted to say I was on I had a customer in Canada who, I thank God for customers like this that actually told me that she liked my yarn, which is fine. I'm glad. But she said, I don't think I'm ever going to order from you again. And here's why. And she told me why, because the shipping was so horrendously expensive. Well, it turns out that Shopify wants me to ship with UPS and not USPS, not the United States Postal Service. So I'm thinking that Shopify and UPS have a deal, but UPS is like twice as much as USPS. So if you order internationally, check on your checkout thing, check on all the different ways that you can do the shipping, and there might be some lesser options for you. This lady and I have worked everything out. She is going to order again, and because I corrected some things on my website. So yes, I do ship internationally for the lowest price possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all somebody needs to do. You see bad reviews, or you see people bad mouthing a company, and all that you got to do is just say to the person, hey, this shipping was ridiculous. And
yeah,
that's all that needs to be done. And usually
and I'm kind of a new dyer. I've only been at this 3 or 4 years. So I appreciated the feedback instead of name calling me and leaving a crappy Yelp review or whatever.
Right.
I appreciate when somebody will actually come back and say, okay, this is what I liked and this is what I didn't like. And instead of just talking about the problem, gave me a solution.
Mm-hmm. Lynn, I have a question for you. Do you ship everybody's orders in garbage bags, or is that just something special you do for me?
That was a very large bag, wasn't it?
Beggars shouldn't be choosers. It's not everyone who gets that much yarn at once. You're like, oh man, it's a garbage bag. I'm like, hello, who doesn't?
It was a garbage bag of yarn. It was awesome.
Actually, that was actually a bag that, you know what? I do remember. Yes, I put it in the bag because, do you remember there was a company, and I'm not going to mention their name, but a lot of their products got wet and they were moldy and then mildewy because they were in like just cardboard boxes.
Oh.
So because I put your order in a cardboard box, I thought, man, if this gets wet, it's going to be ruined. So yeah, I do put it in a garbage bag. And then
because she loves you.
Exactly. And being the good consumer that I am and wanting to save the earth and all of that jazz, I wanted you to reuse that garbage bag.
Oh, I did.
As a garbage liner. Yes. So I try to be very conscious about my packaging. You can recycle the garbage bag and the paper box. Yeah. Not everybody gets that special treatment. I thought you'd get a kick out of it too.
I did. It was awesome. And
but I do try to wrap in plastic before I put it in the box, because I don't want my stuff getting wet and then smelling like yuck.
Yeah, no, nobody wants that. My mom and I were opening it together, and I said, I bet you she did this just for me. I bet you this is not how she ships everybody's yarn.
Not everybody's in a trash bag. No.
So I've been packing up this week and very conscious of packing my yarn too, of like, oh no, what if moths get into it? What if horrible things? What if this? What if that? So I'm like, yeah, trash bag that.
Yeah,
funny.
we go through a lot of those Ziploc bags.
Oh, sure.
You know, we reuse them. I reuse a lot of my yarn comes in resealable bags, which is perfect. So I reuse those as much as I can.
That's cool. So Anne, why don't you take a second and tell our friends why you are packing and what is going on with you?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm packing up all my stuff and I'm leaving the country for a couple months. I'm going to Romania, unless of course something horrible happens with the plane ticket and everything. So fingers crossed there with international travel. But yeah, that's the plan.
What prompted you to do this? Did you just say, hey, I think next week I'll go to Romania?
Well, I've had this in the works for a little while now, not quite like a next week thing. It's the first time I've said it publicly. But yeah, that my housing situation and the sort of situation at my job changed at the same time. And while I was sitting there, is that a Daredevil mug?
University of Dayton.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. Dayton Flyers.
I got distracted. I saw the double D.
Ooh, sorry.
So her housing and her
I'm sorry.
job situation changed at the same time, i.e., she was homeless and jobless at the same time. So
Right. Right. Well, not completely, but a bit. And then my friend's sister lives in Romania, and a situation came where she needed help and go over there for a bit. So yeah, I jumped on that, and yeah, and I figure, the only other time I've been out of the country is to New Zealand, and this seems, hanging out at someone else's house in Romania for a couple months, what could be better?
Are there yarn shops near where you're going to be?
I am almost certain of it.
Good.
I know I've seen yarn produced in Romania before. I can't remember what brands, but I'm about to find out.
that's cool.
How fun.
Yeah. So there's a good chance that Anne is not going to be joining us next week. We'll have to see because she'll just be getting in and settled. But I do have a special guest next week, so I won't be on my own. So that's exciting.
Right. And Romania has internet. It's okay. So I've had a couple people say like, oh, so are you not doing the podcast? I'm like, I am. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And if not, I'm sure you'll be, like we've talked about, contingencies and guest spots.
In the event that there is no internet or there's an issue with time differences or whatever, there's a plan. Lynne's going to join me, probably Neil and Birdie, and we've got some people in the wings waiting to jump in and save us if we need them. So that's fun. But yeah, so Anne is going to be traveling next week. It's a pretty long trip. So if you're one of our followers who pray, maybe throw her on your list, because we want her to get there safe. And even though she's not going to be near Ukraine, because Romania and Ukraine do have a border together, there's a lot of unrest. So, just keep her in your prayers, because we want her to be safe and come back at some point, unless you fall in love with Romania and you can still do the podcast. So whatever.
Whatever, doesn't matter. No, seriously, the thing that I'm most concerned about is there's a long layover in the Munich airport and, literal health Nazis in Germany. So I'm sure it'll be fine though.
Do you have to wear a mask on international flights?
I'm not sure. I believe you do on German flights, but I'll see when I get there.
What about do you have to be vaccinated for your passport?
No, Romania is very cool. I don't think they have any vaccination requirements at all. Not even like, for example, like a tuberculosis shot or something like that. Like they don't do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the only thing is that America, you need a proof of a negative COVID test to get back in the country. But everyone who isn't an American citizen needs to be vaccinated to get in. So yeah, our country's super fun that way. But being a citizen, I skip over that. So
how much yarn are you going to take?
As
or
much
how much?
as I
Okay.
as much as I can shove in my bag. So we'll see, the clothes versus yarn. And it was funny too, because the lady whose house I'm staying at, she's like, yeah, I used to crochet a bit. So I have some yarn if you want to use some of that, knit yourself a blanket or something. I'm like, you don't understand how much input output I have in yarn. Just having like a little basket over here probably isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm dying to know about the packing though, because like, how do you pack for being gone for months and flying? And that just seems crazy to me. And then having to, I don't know, how do you do it?
All you really need though are your prescriptions and your glasses. Everything else you could buy.
Sure.
If you need a shirt, go buy a shirt. If you don't like the shirt, donate it to Goodwill or Salvation Army over there. I mean, you don't really, prescriptions and, something for the flight over, and then your glasses. Anything else you could purchase.
Right. And I figured too, I'm going to check a bag and everything, but it's like, okay, how much, I don't know. I'm like a little kid when I travel every single time. Even, it's like, okay, clothes, shoes, toiletries, important stuff like that. I'm like, what yarn am I bringing and what books am I bringing? What toys am I bringing along for my trip?
That's so funny. The older the kids get, the less toys we have to pack. But that's like a consideration. We're like, here's your backpack. These are the toys you're bringing for the week. Put your things in this backpack. It's all you get.
Yep. Oh, I'm very much
they
that
would be
way.
bringing like whole sets of things and they'd be like out of control. Got a limit. But not yarn. You should be able to bring whatever you want. So
that's my figure. Yeah, I may not. I'm still, again, the economy of what to bring and what not to bring. But I got a second thing of the Patriot collection for myself. And there's a couple shawl patterns I'm eyeing and going back and forth on which I should do. So
that's cool.
Are you going to take your ball winder?
No.
Okay. Your collapsible Swift?
No, I think I'll just go old-fashioned way and balance the skein on my knees. And
that's what I do. I don't own either of those things. I use my knees, and I have I don't know what brand of toilet paper it was, but there was this one brand we had for a minute that had these tubes that were super, super firm. And I have one of those. That's like my special toilet paper roll for winding yarn. It is what it is. It works. I'm not like you, Lynn. I don't need one. I don't need all that stuff. I'm one person.
Okay.
And my mom has it. If I have a lot to wind, I can just take it to her house.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, if I have one project, no, it's on my knees with my toilet paper roll. That's it. You'll be fine. So yeah, Anne might be missing at least 1 week, but we expect that things will continue more or less as normal for the most part. Might be weird. And I'm hoping, she's like, I'm not going to take pictures and post them and blah, blah. And I'm telling her right now,
no,
you have to, because
I'm very bad at posting pictures, and I know that I have to be better because, of course, I'm going to be out and actually seeing things. Otherwise, it's just, hey, want more pictures of my dog? She's still cute, but she hasn't changed much.
Where's Molly gonna go while you're gone?
Oh, my brother has claimed her.
Okay.
Good.
Her brother has claimed her, even though one of Murder Knit's kids is going to attempt to kidnap her while Anne is out of the country. Yeah. But apparently her brother is not above fighting a child for a dog, so everything's fine.
Right. And that's what he said too. He's like, no, I don't care if it's a little girl. Molly's going to be safe with me. I'm like, thank you, Max. Thanks for caring.
I love that little girl. I love Murder Knit's little girl.
And she has a yarn colorway named after her.
Yes. Let me see if I can. Hang on. I don't want to show the little girl's face because there are some weirdos out there.
Unfortunately, there are.
I know. So let me cover her face. But she sent me a picture of the little girl wearing that sweater. Oh, there's a glare. Sorry. But that sweater is Very Perry Paisley is the name of the colorway. And then the sweater design is by Liz Clothier Designs. Liz Clothier now has her own website. Anyway, it's called the Very Perry Paisley sweater. Isn't that adorable?
It's adorable.
That hangs in my shop. Cute little girl. Cute little Paisley. Hangs in my shop right there. And I will never get rid of that colorway because she told me not to.
Wow. I never knew that. That's the way you keep your colorways. Lynn, you may never get rid of our colorway.
Only we're grown women, so you can tell us.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it on the sparkle doesn't show up very well. This is a sparkle. This is a DK sparkle with silk in it. So it's got 20% silk. Wow. And then merino, superwash merino. And then, I know, I'm just going to fondle it over here. And then that little 5% stellina, little sparkly. Isn't that fun? Yeah. This was fun. My husband said it looked collegiate.
You know, that's kind of been the consensus. It's kind of got that Harry Potter, like superhero kind of vibe, which I mean, Anne and I are superheroes, so that's only fitting.
Oh. And also, I never considered it on sparkle before. I'm like, oh, I love it.
Yeah. Somebody, and out of the three of us,
yes,
I'm still the only one that hasn't seen it in life.
Somebody needs to get to the post office.
That's true.
Oh, well, we were at the post office yesterday, so.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yours, hang on. Yours is drying on the rack.
So somebody should not be going to the post office.
You know what? With Shopify, I don't go to the post office. I package everything and they come and pick it up. I love it.
Is this a Shopify ad now?
Well, sorry.
We are advertising everything down the line.
You know what? I
Lynn,
did have
Karen.
I was on Etsy.
Perfect heist.
And I did have my own website through a different company and it just wasn't doing very well. And when I moved over to that Canadian company, I started getting, a little bit more traffic. But yes, it will be packaged and in the mail to you tomorrow, my dear. You'll have it next week.
All right. I suppose I can wait a couple more days.
I guess. And I showed this to you.
Brainstorming what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Oh.
You showed that to us?
And I haven't showed off yet because I was finishing a cowl from the yarn last night and it's so pretty.
Oh.
Sorry, I love this.
Nice.
And as you can see, I ran out of buttons. So there's more buttons at the end than there is in the middle. But it is so pretty. And I'm sitting, as the cowl, I'll unbutton it. As the cowl is getting bigger, that I'm just sitting here like, I need a sweater out of this. I'm just like, I don't want to stop knitting it. It's so pretty. Here. And open. And sorry, buttons.
That would be pretty on the Aran weight, the merino cashmere nylon that I have.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, that is pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well done.
Nice job.
Do you remember what the merino cashmere nylon feels like?
I assume it's fabulous, but I don't specifically remember.
Do you still have my sampler box?
I don't think I have a sampler box actually. I don't know how I don't have a sampler box, but I don't think I have a sampler box.
Yes,
right.
My kids stole the sampler box and it is no more a sampler box. Other things live inside of it now. So how do you get those? Do you get and eat all the candies and then save the boxes?
I'm writing a note. Send sampler boxes to DK and Anne. Okay.
I keep forgetting them too, which is silly of me because I know that, when you go to your shop, you can put in a sampler box in there. And last time I ordered from you, I forgot.
Whoops. So yeah, the little candy just fell out. People who order for the first time get these.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I know, my dear DK, I ordered the actual little boxes and the little inserts separately.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not eat all of that chocolate because I've sent
If it
out
was
over
me,
to,
I would.
well, I did get the idea though from the company. So I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and there's a chocolate company there called Esther Price Candy, and they have this. And we used to love to get the little, the name of the chocolate and then lift it up and eat whatever it was. So I kind of got the idea from that.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's other chocolate companies out there, but Esther Price is the best, I think. And so I've sent over 200 of these out. So
Wow.
it's, yeah. They are labor intensive, but I want people to have that in their hands so that they can feel that MCN. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Nice little fluffy cashmere nylon. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps a lot because sometimes when you're ordering online, it's hard to decide like which one you want. And like you have a DK, because I knit almost everything in DK. So you have like this DK base that's like fluffier than your DK sock. And like once I got this one, I was like, oh wait, why have I been ordering sock? This one is so much floofier. Like I like it better. So it's nice.
Oh,
to be
the
able
Americana base. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to put your hands right on it and know what it's going to be like, if it's going to work for your project or whatever. So that's cool.
That is a nice base. Yeah, I agree with you.
I like both of them, but that one's got a little more, it's a little plumper, so it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But did you have knitting you wanted to show off? Because I have not knit. Actually, you want to know what I did this week? I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Well, we took our kids and my niece to an amusement park on Monday. And so we were all fried because we went to an amusement park all day, right? Like, but then on Tuesday, I decided that instead of teaching my kids, I was going to absolutely gut our schoolroom, get rid of books, rearrange, take things off the walls. And it took me all day and then a little bit of Wednesday. And my kids were down there last night playing and like, this is so nice. It's so clean. It's so, look at, oh, I found this craft. And so it was very much worthwhile, but holy moly, it took me forever to do, but it was worth it. And now because we're going to school all summer. So it's going to be nice to kind of have, like, our year is starting over right now. So it'll be cool to start fresh.
How do you like homeschooling?
I like it. I was telling Lynne before the episode started that I tend to be a little like ADD and I need to get myself a little better on task. But I think homeschooling throughout the year, that'll make it okay if we do like 3 days a week, every week, because we'll be hitting enough curriculum throughout the year. It won't matter. Because once we get to like 4 or 5 days, I lose my mind. Like my house is dirty and I need a little bit of downtime for myself and for doing this. And otherwise it's just my style, I guess. So
are you,
I like it.
So you're using the curriculum?
Mm-hmm, I have a curriculum, but like this year, I finally wised up and I'm not using, because we use Master Books, which is a Christian company, and I like them, but their history stuff, we don't like it. We've tried for 2 years to do it. It's no good. So this year I actually ordered a book from the Tuttle twins and I'm super excited to get that because we've read some of their books and the kids really enjoy them. And they teach, like the book we read was about the law and why it's important to have law and why, and it's presented in a way that is fun and interesting, but they're still getting the moral of the story. And so I'm really looking forward to that book. And some of our curriculum, like they went over the math too quickly and things. So I'm learning like where to supplement and where not to supplement and what we can do and not do. So I finally feel like I'm hitting my stride. This is going to be our 3rd year. So yeah, so I've kind of been focused on that, and I have not been knitting.
That's all right. The Homeschool Legal Defense Association has a lot of great material also. And there's a place here in Colorado called Colorado Homeschooler Education something. Christian Homeschoolers, Homeschool Educators of Colorado or something. It's called CHEC, CHEC. And they have a lot of good resources as well. I'm sure that New York has stuff too. We did a lot of unschooling with our daughter, and we would just, whatever we were learning, we would bring her in and say, this is what we're learning about. And we call them knowledge blessings. We would have to say, we sit down every night and we say, well, what did you learn about today? Because we're always learning. It just, I'm learning stuff daily about, my business, and here's what I learned today. And I learned that I can't do this with this colorway because it's going to turn brown. I have to heat it at this temperature instead. My husband's always learning stuff. Our daughter is way into Chernobyl, learning about Chernobyl lately and nuclear energy. Okay. I remember when it happened. I have no idea why she's learning about it, but she is, and it's good. So I think finding that rhythm for yourself and for your kids is great.
Yeah.
And anything that you're doing, it doesn't have to be read the book and do the darn worksheet. That's not school.
No. We do some of that just because I want my kids to be able to like sit and focus for like, hey, we're going to work on some stuff. But it's hard for us to do like science in the middle of winter. So I think this summer we're going to like be outside doing things so that like in the middle of winter when it's annoying to get our entire house messy, I can be like, yeah, we already did it. But I think that when you homeschool, there's like this expectation. Like people who are very well-meaning are like, well, you didn't homeschool 5 days this week. Yeah, I know. But what we did last night, we took a walk and we talked about all the different kinds of trees we have in our area and different. So homeschooling looks different to different people. And I have some friends who are really regimented. Every day they do like this thing and this thing and this thing. I'm not that person. I'll probably never be that person. And so I'm embracing it, but I'm also trying to be structured enough that it pleases my husband, who is a very structured person. And so it's a give and take. But I think we're getting there.
Do they need the structure or do they need more go with the flow?
So my younger child is very they're a self-starter. So I can say do this or that and they'll do it. The other one, the older one, needs a lot of direction, needs some structure. And so even though it's difficult for me to an extent, I think we need to have they would be pleased if I let them read books all day, which I do. I do let them read books all day, but also, we have to practice your math facts because you have a lot of trouble with math facts. So let's just work on it together and,
Well, I think it's a good approach too. That's like, okay, so you only have official school time so much a week, but you're out and you're doing things and you're hands-on and your real world applications and you're going on field trips so that the kids are out in the world and learning stuff. And I mean, also I know it was something that when I was homeschooled was you were going to learn best what you are actually interested in. So if you're like, hey, I'm really into this aspect of history this week, go hog wild. It counts. If you want to sit down and watch nothing but documentaries about the Civil War, please watch nothing but documentaries about the Civil War, because you're going to learn more if you're interested in it than if you're like, oh, this is boring, this is whatever. And you need to have the full rounded education. If you're never interested in math, you need to do math anyways.
Yeah.
But just having that, like, I don't know, even, well, like you said, as an adult, always learning. I'm very much, if I find myself like really interested in something, I'll just dive into it. I'm like, I'll probably never be this interested in this again. And, go hog wild. It's fun.
Yeah. I'm actually super excited about our language curriculum for my one child's in 3rd grade. And they don't really like the worksheets and things. They're really into reading. And so I've got this curriculum where it's like, okay, here's a nonfiction book. Write something about the nonfiction book you read. Okay, now we're going to read a fiction book. Now we're going to read a historical. And so, like, it doesn't tell you what books to read, so they can still pick the books, but it also is kind of getting them to think about different aspects. Like, it asks questions about, like, hey, this nonfiction book, what questions do you have? What questions are answered? And I think that that's going to be fun, because they can still pick all the books they want. They just are going to approach it differently than we did this year, where it was very like, what's a noun? What's a verb? We'll still talk about that, but it's more in it's more in the aspect of what's going on in this book, and okay, give me some nouns that you learned from this book. And so I think it's going to be better. And that's part of schooling. You just figure out what's going to work. Since they want to read books all day, hey, that can totally be part of language. Go for it.
Absolutely.
But so anyway, that's what I've been doing. I haven't been doing anything except thinking about next year's school, and I'm really excited. So hopefully we'll keep our momentum. Because this year kind of fizzled once I had my surgery. There wasn't a whole lot of school after that. Things just we kept getting knocked down. So this year we're coming in strong.
And Lynn, you went to go visit the ranch that some of your yarn is at recently. How was that?
I did. That was fun. It was a lot of work. So the 2 gals that come up from Texas, Right Choice Shearing, they are a wife and wife team that are, I think they're still in their 20s. And the one gal, Katie, she's the one that you'll see on the videos, and she's the one that does the talking. Darian is kind of the behind the scenes, take the pictures, and she's very quiet and shy. But they are just phenomenal with their knowledge and their patience in teaching us, because this is what they do. This is their livelihood, and they make buku bucks traveling and doing the small farms. So yeah, I went and helped skirt the fleeces, and that's where you take off all the unwanted bits of the fleece, and then we bagged and tagged them so that we would know every sheep has a number, so that you could kind of follow the health of that sheep. So we were bagging and tagging and making notes, and like this is not a good fiber to use for spinning, but maybe it could be used for like rugs, or maybe it could be used to make felted pads that are used in, I forget what the pad is called. It's probably just called the pad that goes underneath the saddle for the horse, so that there's a little bit of padding between the rider and the horse. That's usually a wool felted pad. So it was very interesting. I think this farm or this ranch has about 270 head of sheep. And I brought home a 2-year, some of the sheep didn't get sheared last year, so I brought home a 2-year Blueface Leicester fleece. And I've washed it. Well, I'm in the process of washing it, and then I'm combing it, and then later I have a carder. I'll card it and then eventually spin it. But the staple length is like 6 inches long. It's just gorgeous. And there's that Blueface Leicester sheen to it. Yeah, so that's all going to be personal use. The other stuff I'll send up to the mill, and that will get processed into some wool, into some yarn to sell. But yeah, it's quite extensive, and I never thought that this would be my life. You know, it took a totally different direction. I think that's what you do when you're, you know, you've done everything that you want to do or that you have to do in your 20s and 30s and 40s. And now when you hit your 50s, it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. So now I'm doing what I want to do.
You could be like Anne, who's in her 20s and doing what she wants to do too. I mean, who just ups and goes to Romania, right? Like, I wish I had when I was a bit younger.
That's gutsy. I was never that gutsy to just pick up and move to a whole different. I didn't even leave my state until I got married. You know, like, I mean, I would go and visit places, but I always lived in Ohio, and then I got married. So,
yep.
You're courageous, Anne.
I don't know. I think it's more of a, you know, isn't it a Ramones line? I wasn't born so much as I fell out. I feel more that I was dumped into things and like, okay, run, instead of a woohoo, I'm up and I'm going. You know, that's sort of a trip and fall rather than a jump to.
That's okay. It still works either way. But
yeah. So I will show you a couple of things I have finished. This is a sweater that I started on May 1st. This is called the Liberty Tee, and it's by Kia Kuhn, and it's on Lovecrafts. This design. I love the little detail of the bottom, and it's very easy. Anyway, I started this, but I didn't finish it until I got back home from Dayton. But this is for my cousin, Stephanie, and purple is her favorite color. So this is Crown Royal, the color. And this, the pattern is very well written, easy to follow. That's one thing. I did some needle punching. You've heard of the rug punching, but I did some needle punching where you punch on the wrong side of the fabric and then the front side shows the design. Oh, so this was only 2 years in the making, but this is it. And so you have this monk's cloth that you use, and they're just, I don't know if you can see, they're just like little bitty loops of floss, of like DMC floss. Anyway, I finished this, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but that's needle punching. That was fun to do. I've been making a lot of, somebody found out that I knit and crochet for charity. And so I have literally totes of acrylic yarn in my house that people have brought over because I might need it. And it's a lot. Anyhow, I've been making hats for Hat Not Hate, which is an anti-bullying campaign that's nationwide. Mm-hmm. And that's their little hashtag. Can you see that? Hat Not Hate. Mm-hmm. So I'm one of the drop-off points for Colorado. And so I made their whole thing is blue hats. So it has to be at least 50% or more blue. So I've been making hats, and they will, I don't know how they're going to be distributed or how they're going to be dealt with, but I'm making a lot of acrylic hats for that. Somebody from Tucson, Arizona just sent me a box of finished hats for this Hat Not Hate program. Okay. Yeah, and it's all for an anti-bullying thing. There might be some people in the knitting community that we could send these to.
I don't think that they would be receptive to your acrylic hats. They'd probably have something to say about, one, it's acrylic, and two, they're not bullies, so it's all right.
Whatever.
Never the people who think it's them.
Yeah. This is a crocheted, I used a superwash. I took Carista's design or Carista's idea from Sweet Mountain Crafts, Sweet Mountain Fiber, now going to be Wyoming Yarns, because she got a storefront. But she took an acrylic and she put like a bunch of minis with it. Mm-hmm. So she took a white acrylic and put a bunch of mini fingerings and made a blanket. And I thought that was kind of a cool idea. So I'm doing the same with a bunch of minis, and this will go to one of the charities that I help with here in town. That's really it for my knitting / crocheting. We bought a warehouse last year. We bought 2 warehouses, and we are in the process of making part of one of the warehouses my new dye studio. Okay. So that I can, because right now, every single room of this house has either yarn or stuff that Scott's working on, my husband. So we're just I'm kind of getting sick of seeing yarn wherever I look. I love yarn, but it's, I'm seeing boxes of boxes. And so we're going to move everything over to the warehouse so that I can have a larger space to kind of spread out and do my thing. So that's what's new. We just got the sink put in this past week. We had the hot water heater put in a couple of months ago. So it's shaping up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, my husband works from home, but at the end of the day, he shuts the door to his office. He turns off his computer. He's done. And so it's nice to be able to have a space where you can be like, okay, I'm going to turn off the lights and shut the door and go away from this for a while. So yeah, that'll be awesome. Very cool. Yeah. And well, I've been working on the Advent kits, putting those together, and Corrine Walsher Designs is working. She has made up a pattern to go with the Advent this year. And it's not really an Advent. It's more of because I know that some people don't celebrate Advent and some people don't celebrate Hanukkah and some people don't celebrate this and that. It's just a holiday time, 13 days. They're all based on banned books. Each colorway is. But she and I have been working together on a design. She's making the actual design so that there will be a pattern included in this year's Advent. So I've got about half of it dyed up, and I have these ginormous totes in the back room that we have to walk around, and it's kind of getting obnoxious. But for big things like that, I do just need space. And I'm tired of pulling out the collapsible folding tables and putting them up and putting things together. I just want a space to do that with.
Yep, you just want to have it all laid out, and then you can walk away and come back without worrying about it or seeing it or anything.
Exactly.
Like that.
Exactly.
That'll be really nice for you.
I'm having a lot of fun with that Advent kit. That's always been like a passion for me, is literature and bringing it into the, like the youth literature, young adult literature, whatever they call it, juvie lit. Bringing that into the yarn dyeing business has been fun. Like you showed The Snowy Day and why it was, that was a banned book in the 60s. Why? That's stupid. So anyway, I think it's stupid. I think it's a stupid reason. The reason is that the man who wrote it was white, and he wrote a story about a little black boy and it was the first time that children's literature had shown a black child protagonist in a story. And because of that, and because he was white, he, quote, didn't know what it was like to be black. So how could he write that story? So it was a banned book for a while. Yeah.
So it was banned because he was white and he wrote about a black kid. And that reminds me a lot now of the stupid conversations going on in the knitting community about, like, if you're not black, you can't talk about certain things, and you can't, it's funny. You would think 50 years later, things would be different. 60 years later, I'm sorry. And here we are. It's still the same conversation. That's
Right.
crazy.
You know, the back and forth between you need representation, but you can't talk about this. Well, which one is it?
Yeah.
Wow. I knew it was because it was a Black protagonist, but I didn't realize it was because the author was white. Like that hurts my brain.
Oh, there's a lot that hurts my brain. I don't know what you got. I mean, it's such a small brain for me. I don't know if you guys listen to podcasts on a regular basis. I've been listening to Moon Shots, moon like the moon in the sky, shots. And it's these are two guys that talk about business and leadership. And they pick apart like Jordan Peterson's 12 rules and then the next 12 rules. So, and they kind of give a synopsis of everything. They've been doing a whole thing on stoicism that I've been really getting into, just not reacting to the crap that's going on out there. You're only responsible for how you respond to something. And the reactions of some of these folks in the outside world are just, the jaw dropping. Really? You think that? And you're going to say that out loud? Anyhow.
That's interesting.
Back to knitting. I want to know what Anna's knitting.
Well, I've mostly just been knitting the cowl, I'll admit. That other than this, I've been making the hats to sell, the Papa hats, which is really boring.
Yeah, she's been getting ready to go to Romania, so she's been a little busy doing other things.
I have, and anything I sell on Etsy has to be here by the time I go. I'm shipping from Romania, like you said earlier, with international shipping. I'm like, that's a no-go. That's not going to work out.
Yeah.
How many of those hats have you made?
Too many.
Okay.
Easily 30.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Good for you.
Yeah, for real. But out of
Charge
the three
more.
of us, though, out of the three of us, Anne's the only one that has actually watched the news or listened to the news. So
yeah, I don't know. Do you want a new segment or not?
Love God, love Jesus, love people. And that's about all I can do. And hope that it takes an effect with somebody else. That they will in turn love somebody else. One of the reasons I don't watch the news is because I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to believe. All I can control is what's going on in my little microcosm with my family, with my neighbors. So I kind of insulate myself that way, do the little bit of outreach that I can do and try to make every yarn buying experience for my customers a good one.
That's good too. I mean, after all, individuals are the fundamental building block of society. You have better individuals, Absolutely. You have better as a whole, that goes outwards.
Hopefully, yeah.
Nope, that's good. And I agree. I don't watch the news nearly as much as I used to. And it's because it's just, everything is kind of depressing. And like you said, what are we going to do? We can work at home, and that's the best place to work, and buy yarn. Don't forget to use your code to get 20% off of your Chicken Lady yarn.
That's right. Yarn. K Flag Day 20.
Buy stitch markers.
Yeah, buy stitch markers from the Perfect Heist. Get Cody Schlegel's book. He's got two. He's got Odyssey Tale, which is the one we're always talking about, but he has another one called Junction. It's kind of a murder-y thing, so if that's not your cup of tea, that's not for you, but it's fun. Yeah, I think we should end here because we could be real sad, or we can just end on Lynne's happy note of take care of yourself, take care of your neighbors, be kind to each other.
Do what you can.
Do what you can.
Yeah, have you read the 12 rules, the Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life? And then his second set of another 12 rules. He talks a lot about, yeah, you have to take care of yourself before you could take care of that. How, you know, he talks about make your bed, clean up your room, which sound very simple, but taking care of yourself is the best thing that you can do for your family, for your community. Yeah.
Right.
For your husband.
Right. I think I'm trying to remember the C.S. Lewis quote, but sort of like we are all our own individual ships. And you're like, well, if my ship's a mess, that doesn't affect your ship. Yeah, but if the inside of your ship is a mess, your ship is going to drift and hit into someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
Guess that makes sense.
If I don't see you before next Tuesday, have a wonderful time. And don't forget us little people over here in the States.
Well, thank you. I'll try to have a good time.
Okay.
And I certainly won't forget. Anyways, it's a screen world. It's the same screens everywhere you go. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, her backdrop will look different, but she'll still be around. And in the meantime, check out Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. Use the code PIK Flag Day 20 for 20% off your order. Check Ann and I out on Instagram. We each have our own account. She's Ann Pinkava. I'm Deplorable Knitter, in case you forgot. And we are on YouTube and Rumble. We sell on Lovecrafts, Etsy, Galley Life. So make sure you check us out. We will see you guys next week.
Yep. And remember to comment on the video for our giveaway. That'll be chosen next week. Patriot Collection.
Awesome.
And Odyssey Tale. Cody Schlegel.
Yes. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
See you then. Bye.